Once again, let us recollect the kindness of the Triple Jewels and the teacher. And with a full gratitude in heart, let us place our palms together to request Geshe to turn the wheel of Dharma according to the well wishes and capacity of the students. Geshe, kindly give us the teaching.
Page 3. We begin by setting a proper motivation, which consists of 3 parts, while being mindful of both aspects, the object being visualized and the manner in which you visualize it. The first part is refuge filled. In the space in front of you, visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, and all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, or any other enlightened beings you regard with veneration. They are looking upon you with immense kindness and unconditional love, as a mother looks upon her only child. Bodhicitta field. Visualize seated on either side of you your kind parents, mother on the left and father on the right. Additionally, you are accompanied by all other dear mother sentient beings living on a side, and you are leading them in this practice. The purpose of this practice is to manifest the Buddha nature within you, which is the ultimate source of happiness, by removing 2 mental obscurations, afflictive obscurations consisting of the afflictions of negative emotions, contaminated karmas and their corresponding active seeds, and cognitive obscurations, the subtle stains, inactive latencies of the afflictions and contaminated karmas. With this in mind, we recite the following verses. Enthused by great compassion, you told the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you told the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you told the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Taking refuge and generating bodhicitta, Sangye chodan sake chonam la janju bardu dani kyapsuchi dagi jitso kipe sonam ki drola penche sangye rupa shu Sangye chodan sake chonam la janju bardu dani kyapsuchi Dagi jinso kipe sonam ki drola penche sangye rupa shu Sangye chodan sake chonam la janju bardo dani kyapsuchi Dagi jinso kipe sonam ki drola penche sangye rupa shu I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no rising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is freed of all aberrations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, which through the knowledge of all lead hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, which through the knowledge of path causes those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of which helps subdue and expound the varieties of teachings. the one who is transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, the Sugata, the protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. The essence of dependent origination mantra. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato evadat chayo nirodha evam vadi mahasharmanaye svaha. Hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato evadat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi mahasharmanaye svaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato evadat tesham evam vadi mahasharmanaye svaha. Meaning of 10th Nyingpa mantra: all phenomena arise from the causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite, such as the nectar-like Dhamma I have discovered. Finding no one to fathom these teachings, in silence I will retire into the woods. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unseized, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas, of the 3 times I pay obeisance. 4 seals of Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are in the nature of suffering. All phenomena in the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dhamma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha, the Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dhamma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of expansive billions of eons. The Buddha does not wash the negativities of beings, nor does he remove the miseries from his hands. His spiritual realization are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dhamma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. Instructions on parting from 4 attachments. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Page 14, Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected and fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, know the world, supreme guides of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you placed out in 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who wise then I prostrate. With bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not. Incomparable, wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the Tathagata, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the Sangha, I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the four faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the ages, sickness, and death.
Full Heart Sutra?
29.
Or the mantra or full sutra?
The Heart Sutra, the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra, page 29. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did adhere at one time the Buddha was dwelling on a mass of vultures mountain in Rajagriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon like this, correctly, repeatedly beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty. Emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristics, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomena. There is no I element, and up to including no mind element, and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscurations and thus without fear, having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaking to the unsurpassable, perfectly complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of the great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequal, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as truth, since it's not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared: Tayata Om Gate Gate Para Gate Para Samgate Bodhi Svaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from the concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it's like that, it's like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated, even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Buddhas Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding the entirety, along with the worlds of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised as spoken by the Buddha. Deyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisvaha Deyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisvaha Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisvaha Deyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisvaha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisvaha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisvaha. Thank you. By the teachings of the Three Supreme Jewel possessing the power of truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed. May they be dispelled. May they be non-existent. May they be pacified. May all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma. May auspiciousness and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Page 35, 8 verses for training the mind, by Geshe Tampa. With the determination to achieve the highest aim, for the benefit of all sentient beings, who surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depth of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me in an extremely hurtful way, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. Lama Tsongkhapa's Namrem Dedication Prayer, verse 1. From my 2 collections, vast as space that I have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. 7-limb practice, page 37. Except from the King of Prayers, the extraordinary aspiration of the practice of Samantabhadra. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri, you Buddhas, lions amongst humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future. In the world of 10 directions, to all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every particle are Buddhas, number as these particles. Each stem is the host of Bodhisattvas, and I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugatas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, I offer to you, Victorian ones, the Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder, heaped high as Mount Meru, all wandering offerings in spectacular array, I offer to you, the victorious ones. With transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I have done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and ignorance, all these I openly lay bare before you. I lift up my heart and rejoice in all the merit of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers here is still training and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of the world in 10 directions, who have attained Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request you who may actualize Parinirvana, please stay with us for eons, numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by making prostrations, offering, confessing, and rejoicing, and requesting the Buddha stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. A short mandala offering, page 40.
Okay.
This ground anointed with perfumes, tuned with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is a Buddha field and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. The 4 Dhammas of Venerable Gampopa. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dhamma. May I be blessed that my Dhamma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is freed of flows. May I be blessed that the flows are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. The 4 Dhammas of Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva. Becoming utterly frustrated with ignorance that grasps at true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious Bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness.
Page 42.
Page 42, The Foundation of All Good Qualities by Lama Tsongkhapa. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtues and non-virtues karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother, my great three beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing my great three beings. Even if I develop bodhicitta, but I don't practice the three types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I have pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who showed the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separate from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities and stages of the path. May I quickly attain the stage of Vajradhara. Mixema mantra.
Okay, we'll recite the Mixema verse, first in English, then the chant in Tibetan, followed by English. You are Avalokiteshvara, the great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of all the demons without exception. Songkhapa, crown jewel, the stage of the land of snow, Losang Drapa, at your feet among Christians. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hosts of demons without exception, Sankarbha, crown jewel of the sages of the ladder snows, Losantapa, at your feet and make prostrations. Okay, thank you. Okay, next, generating the mind of consummate yoga. For this, 4 points. First, taking the shamatha meditation, 5 minutes. Shamatha meditation ready. Okay, next renunciation is going to be guided. And as I reminded you yesterday, just see that what are the points with which we meditate on renunciation, followed by Bodhicitta, and so forth. And later, when you go back, if you feel the benefit of these, then try to remember these points. You can also enrich your meditation with your own experiences, with what you've read, with what you've heard, what you have experienced. Are you ready? Here, the most important thing is for us to not to try to correlate between what is being said now and what you have learned before. Instead, just try to take the maximum advantage of invoking the experiences to the best you can. A renunciation. Renunciation is to renounce our miseries. It is not to renounce happiness, but to renounce miseries. To renounce miseries, the Buddha taught, we need to identify the causes of miseries. Of course, first the miseries themselves, followed by the causes of miseries. And miseries is of three kinds. And the miseries are given rise to by the causes ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum desham tadhagatu hevatat. Nagarjuna summarized what the Buddha taught as the cause of miseries. Ceasing karma self-afflictions is nirvana. Karma self-afflictions arise from conceptualization of inappropriate attention, which in turn arises from the elaboration of self-grasping ignorance, and the elaboration ceases through the wisdom of emptiness. So as indicated by the Buddha, further explained by Nagarjuna, we come to realize that the miseries, sufferings, they're rooted in ignorance. And the Buddha indicated, while there are many layers of ignorance, the Buddha indicated 4. Ignorance which misconceives impermanent phenomena as permanent. Ignorance which misconceives miseries as happiness. Ignorance which misconceives impure things as pure. And finally, ignorance which misconceives what is dreamlike nature as so objectively real. In other words, what is selfless nature as of selfhood. To counter these 4 kinds of ignorance, Buddha taught the first 3 seals, but the last seal, the 4th one, as a resultant experience over having practiced the first 3 seals. Okay, first seal, all composite things are impermanent. Composite things referring to things which are composed of material parts and temporal parts, such as those which are composed of atoms, electrons, protons, and so forth, and which are composed of the temporal segments in time. So whatever's composite phenomena should necessarily be impermanent. And impermanence is of 2 kinds. It's so important for us to contemplate them both sequentially, first the gross, followed by the subtle. Gross one refers to those impermanent phenomena whose continuum terminates. For example, our youth, our beautiful days of being with your parents, with your brothers, sisters, and so forth, and beautiful sunset, which we experience in 2024, or the beautiful waves on the ocean, very serene ocean, which we witnessed in 2024 and before. And the Buddha taught that wealth, whatever is accumulated, ends in exhaustion, and the youth ends in old age. Good health ends in age, the ill health. And what is born dies. Look at the old fortresses. Look at the big big, big palaces. Look at the big, big pyramids. These are the proof what the Buddha taught is very true. And imagine those people who once upon a time owned these big, big, big places. Did they really think of their death? Did they really think of the impermanence? We never know. But generally speaking, how so elegantly they constructed these huge, massive structures, most likely the thought of impermanence was not there. Thinking there's eternal power. And today you see the same thing happening in the world. And yet, look at these people, now they are gone. Old fortresses, they're the proof. This is from where we have to take the lesson that we too one day will disappear from this earth. And you think that your power, your wealth, your fame, this is so eternal. And yet it's all illusion, they're all impermanent. The impermanence that you see over the span of these years, for example, the youth of 200 years ago, the parents, they have so much expectation over the children's career, and children, they themselves, so much expectation over their career. And where are they today? They're all gone. Whether their ambitions, whether their aspirations are fulfilled or not fulfilled, they're all gone. It's not that we are fortunate, we are very meritorious, and they are unfortunate. No, it's a matter of time. Today, 8 billion human beings within a span of 100 years. Only a few newborn babies today will be left. Otherwise, we're all gone by then. This is known as the impermanence. And this impermanence, whose continuum terminates, should necessarily happen only if there's a change happening on the subtle level. Change that you see over the span of the last 20 years, or 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, is possible only if there's a change happening on the daily basis. For example, the huge structures they build, they start from the scratch, from nothing, and gradually built up 1, 2, 3, 4, and eventually so massive. This is a proof that the changes that you see over the span of like many years is possible only if there's a change happening on the yearly basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis, hourly basis, minute by minute basis, second by second basis, and millisecond by millisecond basis. Which means that all the composite phenomena, they're working, they are changing on the level of on the level of such a macro level, which is the millisecond, and even subtler. Yes, what is it like? So fast. 1 second split into 10, 1 second split into 100. Even the digits there is so difficult to catch. It's just like some kind of hazy things happening. And then what I mentioned of a second split into 1,000, it's impossible for us to catch the changes. So fast. This is how our body is changing. This is how the world is changing. This is how your mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife, children, they're changing so fast. The fact that we feel so relaxed, it's all because we don't see this change, because of the grossness, coarseness of our mind. But the reality is very different. Only when you contemplate deeper, you tend to see the deeper realities that all composite phenomena are momentarily changing. And it's very scary. It will be a very scary experience. Why we are not scared? Simply because we don't see this reality. This is ignorance's bliss. And because of this ignorance bliss, there's nothing good in it. It only stops us from preparing for a future journey. Whereas realizing this subtle impermanence, it will give a sense of urgency. Imagine that you're thrown into a very fast moving train. You could hear every single momentary change move so fast. Faster the train moves, more the fear You don't know where the train is taking you. Who decides where the train is taking you? The driver. If the driver is your mom or dad, no doubt he'll take you to a picnic spot. But if the driver is a terrorist, or under the dictate of the terrorist, no doubt he'll only take you to a slaughterhouse. In that case, the driver's mind. This mind decides where we go. For example, the Prince Siddhartha, his mind took him to full awakening. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, his mind took him to full awakening. Whereas us, our mind took us only to miseries. So, although our mind is not the terrorist, but is under the power of the worst of the terrorists, worst of the contaminations, which is self-grasping ignorance. And this self-grasping ignorance is complemented by self-centered attitude, which in turn gives rise to the offshoots in the form of inappropriate attention, gross afflictions, like attachment, aversion, so forth, and give rise to the contaminated karmas, and then resulting in all the miseries. This is what the Buddha indicated as all contaminated things of suffering nature. What kind of suffering? 3 kinds of suffering. Suffering which so manifest, nobody wants to experience. It's so immediate pain. Nobody wants to go through this, and we are scared of this pain. It's the pain of losing near and dear ones, pain of losing one's own life, pain for all forms of injustices, and so forth. Extremely painful. And this pain, why do we live in this pain? Because that we are lured into this, dragged into this by the suffering change, mundane happiness, which is a bait. And what's the mechanism by which this bait drags us into suffering or fear suffering? Is because of the pervasive conditioned suffering. Involuntary birth and samsara, finished, then it gives rise to immediate bait-like experiences, then dragging down into further suffering. Look at the people who go into unwise businesses, unwise relationships, and so forth. Initially it was so pleasant, end up into a disaster. This is the meaning of suffering change, dragging us into suffering. And behind that, the mastermind is pervasive conditioned suffering. So the voices of the beings, they are so frustrated by the pervasive conditioned suffering. Those who feel this aversion to the pervasive conditioned suffering, this is what the Buddha indicated as this is the truth of suffering, where one is expected to understand the third level of suffering. Yes, on another level, where the suffering is the most immediate, one moment of such a suffering, the loss of near and dear and so forth, is good enough to nullify all the past experiences of the celebration, birthday parties, and so forth. They are so shallow, hollow, meaningless, and gloomy in the eyes of one moment of such tragedy. Yes, when will these miseries stop? When will these miseries stop? They will never stop on their own. But 2024 stopped on its own. We didn't do anything. Yes, impermanence is of 3 kinds. Impermanence whose continuum invariably stops, like 2024, our youth, the pleasures, the happiness of experiences, and suffering. And there's a second class of impermanent phenomena whose continuum never terminates, no matter what we do, like time, our mind, and so forth. There's third class of impermanent phenomena whose continuum terminates only through conscious effort, otherwise will never terminate. It perpetuates, like our self-grasping ignorance, like our miseries, having to shed tears. They will never stop on their own unless we put conscious effort. What kind of effort is required? For that, the Buddha clearly identified that it is only through identifying the root of miseries and stopping it. What's the root of miseries? Self-grasping ignorance. So how to stop that? By introducing the counterforce. What is counterforce? The wisdom. What is wisdom? Wisdom is the discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. What's the reality? Reality is what the Buddha indicated as the third seal, that everything is the nature of emptiness, selflessness. Okay, let's quickly meditate on emptiness today of yourself, because we see that in all the problems that we go through, one external factors, internal factors involved, there is the internal factor. One common internal factor that is always there is misconception of the I, the self. Okay, let's try the meditation on emptiness of this person who you identified as I. What are you doing? I'm meditating. And what is this body doing? Your body doing? My body is in meditative posture. And how does this person appear to you? The four essentials. How does this person who you identified as I appear to you? Yes, like a dream, the mind is creating it. Or no way. 100% objective, so objectified. Yes, it appears so objectively real. And if you identify that as opposed to how it can possibly exist by subjective imputation, if you identify how it appears objectively real, that is in view of the first essential of identifying the object negation. And this belief that I exist objectively, this is a self-grasping ignorance. This is the worst of the contaminations. This is the worst of the mastermind for our having to shed tears in samsara. How do you know that this is ignorance? This is not a valid mind. Yes, remember what Arjuna taught. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? With a similar token of reasoning, if this person who identifies I but exists subjectively, why don't I see this person as a go closer to the object? Going closer to the object, the only possibility for this person to exist subjectively is twofold. That either is parts, in our ultimate analysis, that the parts of this person should be identical with the person, or removing the parts, objectively, they should be left as a separate self, I, separate from the six elements. Okay, if you understand this understanding of second seal, second essential understanding pervasion. Okay, now let us subject, as taught by Arjuna, let us subject this person ultimate analysis by going closer to the person or the object. By going closer, whatever is not the objective person, just simply ignore. Because you're you are searching for the objective self as it appears to your mind. Going closer, you end up seeing the very thin layer of the skin, behind that the fatty tissues, muscles, cartilages, the whole skeleton, the heart, the lungs, the liver, pancreas, and so forth. All these sort of parts constitute the element of earth. And the element of earth is not identified as, not to be, in our ultimate analysis, element of the sixth element, earth, is not identified as this person. Next, the element of water, 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart rate from the body. Element of fire, 2,600 joules of energy, in other words, the body heat. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that you breathe in out through your lungs to the element of space and element of consciousness. Okay, now tell me, you as in our ultimate analysis, if at all there's something there, 6 elements. Now tell me, which of the 6 elements is to be identified as this self, as intrinsically as one with the self, or as intrinsically as the self? None. If you are sure of that, you got the third essential of understanding, the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. Okay, now look for a second alternative, second possibility for possible intrinsic existence of the objective existence of the person. Remove the 6 elements to see if the person exists as differently from the 6 elements. In the ultimate analysis, remove the 6 elements. What do you see? Nothing is left there as a person. If you're sure of that, you understood the 4th essential of understanding, the emptiness of the objects being different from its parts. Okay, now tell me, from the object conclusion, from the object, where is this objective self? Nowhere. Stay in this experience for a while. This is what the Buddha indicated as everything is the nature of emptiness, selflessness. Stay in this experience for a while. Yes, this is a very profound meditation. But what's the benefit of this meditation? And just as this self, who identified as I, dissolves in this vast, profound experience of the emptiness, likewise all the miseries, sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, you subject them to the same analysis, they will all disappear in the experience of emptiness. The moment these sorrows are transcended, disappear, they are transcended, the peace, profound peace, dawns in you. Stay in this experience for one experience of emptiness where all the miseries dissolve, your sorrow transcended, and the peace dawns. This is what the Buddha indicated as transcending sorrow is absolute peace, the 4th seal. Now generate a very strong aspiration. May I forever experience this emptiness of objective reality, where all my sorrows are transcended and the profound eternal peace dawns in me. That aspiration is known as renunciation. This is the ultimate understanding of renunciation. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, good. Let it take a few seconds before we take a second's gap before we go to the Bodhicitta. Are you ready? Bodhicitta, when you're on your own, then it's good. Begin with the 4 immeasurables, and then engage in the actual 9 steps of the Bodhicitta. 9 steps, and there is the other method with 7 steps and the 1 preliminary. You can do first try the 2 methods, on the alternate days. Today, if you do the 7-fold method, the next day you do the method equalizing exchanges of others, and then alternate between the 2. Whereas some people can do both in one sitting. Why I'm not encouraging everybody to do that, both the methods in one sitting, is because it can be very exhausting. And because it's very exhausting, you may find it initially you may find it quite exciting. You think that I can do it, and then quickly, just within a few days' time, you may stop the meditation completely, because deep inside it is extremely energy consuming. Because we never think like this before. So the best thing is just do one method at a time, and gradually first build the consistency Consistency meaning that you should be consistent in the practice. And when you become very consistent, there's ease built up. Then you can, if you think you like to do both in a single sitting, you can try it. Okay. So today in group, we do the 4 immeasurables, and once in a while we do the 2 methods in group also. So today we'll do the 4 immeasurables as usually. Ready? Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is defined as the altruistic intention to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. As this is what is taught by Arimitri in this text, ornament of clear realization, Undoken or Abhisamaya Alankara. To generate this bodhicitta, we practice the 4 immeasurables. First, immeasurable loving kindness. And each of these 4 immeasurables, some of us may feel is so superficial. Yes, don't worry at all. And if it's superficial and if there's no benefit there, then why should we do it? Though it is superficial, it is a tremendous benefit that your misery stops and your happiness expands to infinity. And not only for yourselves, to everybody who you love and eventually all sentient beings. This is what you can share. It's so precious. So therefore, even though it is like superficial, it doesn't matter. Just think of the practicing music, where initially although you are mimicking your teachers, but only noise comes out. Noise is not music, and you are supposed to be creating music. You are creating noise here, but this is a way. Noise means it does not resonate with real music. Likewise, this practice may not resonate with the unnatural thinking. Practicing gradually, unnatural thinking changes. Even that natural thinking is dependent, originated. So with this in mind, immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. May all my dear mother sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I will take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, witnessing that we're making such courageous commitment, like the mother after all so many years of hardship in raising her children. Today, the eldest daughter is just aged 12, and the eldest son just aged 11. You as a little girl, little boy, you go to the mother and tell the mother, Mother, please take rest, you have done everything for us. Now we are grown up, we'll take her for all our siblings. And the mother could not believe her eyes and ears, feel so proud. And this pride and happiness brings tears in the eyes. This is exactly what all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas are feeling today. The pride and happiness that they feel invoke their compassionate minds to send forth nectars, very soothing lights towards you and all dim sentient beings. The mere touch of lesson nectars with the bodies is yours instills in all happiness and causes happiness within you and all dim sentient beings. And you, witnessing such a miracle is happening to all the demonstration, makes you intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. Cause of suffering primarily consisting of self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. May all my dear Mother Sentient beings be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The Buddha's Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, the intense happiness and pride for you, this pride and happiness invoke their compassionate minds to send forth nectar as a soothing light towards you and all dear Sentient beings. The mere touch the lights and nectars with the bodies beings yours, washes away all the miseries and causes miseries from the dear Sentient beings yourself, and you witnessing such a miracle is happening. To all your demonstration makes you intense happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Next, immeasurable joy. How good would it be that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they endowed with. May all my dear Mother Sentient beings never be separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they endowed with. I will take the responsibility that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they endowed with. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you're making such courageous commitment, they're intensely happy. They just happy and pride to invoke their compassionate minds to send forth nectars of soothing lights towards you and all demonstration beings. The mere touch the lights and nectars with the bodies beings yours stabilizes happiness and the cause of happiness that beings are endowed with. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to all the demonstration beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Immeasurable equanimity. How good would it be that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. May all my dear Mother Sentient beings be freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, and instead abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other dear Mother Sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear Mother Sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment to some and aversion to others. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, like a mother after all these many years of raising facing difficulty raising her children. Today, the eldest daughter and the eldest son, you as the eldest daughter and eldest son, go to the mother and tell the mother, Mother, please take rest. You have done everything for us. We know how much you love us. Now we are grown up, we'll take care of all the siblings. But the mother couldn't believe her eyes and ears. This joy makes her eyes filled with tears of joy. This is exactly what happens to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And this joy and happiness the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas feel invoke the compassionate minds to send forth nectars for soothing lights towards you and all demonstrated beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies beings yours frees the beings from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, and instead by making them abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other dear Mother Sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to all the dear Mother Sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Underscore all the four immeasurables is unconditional love. Abundance is unconditional love towards all the beings. To the extent that you gaze through the eyes of each sentient beings, give them such a sense of confidence and affection that they feel themselves so special in eyes. With folded hands, let us make a Bodhicitta commitment 3 times together. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Slowly transform this most beautiful mind of the Bodhicitta into a spotlessly clean moon disk, white moon disk, horizontally sitting at your heart. Okay, it's amazing that we made such courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. But remember, no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil comes out. Yes, I know that. I'm not like a handful of sand, I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing which oil does come out of a Buddha nature. But if this were the case, how come that since time immemorial till today, that this Buddha nature never manifested? Yes. This is because that thus far I've been deceived by the two demons, self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. And today I'm disillusioned by these two things. I'm going to do everything to exterminate these two demons so that the Buddha nature within me will manifest fully very soon. What am I going to do? I'm going to introduce a very powerful remedy. What is that remedy? The non-dual wisdom of the Arya Bodhisattvas. What is that like? Okay, let's quickly retrieve the experience of emptiness, which you meditated as the third of the 4 seals. Emptiness of the self. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. And how does this person who identifies I, who you identify as I, appear to exist? Like a dream that your mind is creating it, subjectively mind is creating it, or objectively it exists as so intrinsically real out there. Of course, so intrinsically out there. This belief in the intrinsic, objective nature of the self identifies I. This belief is the self-grasping ignorance. And how do you know that this ignorance is not a valid mind? Remember what I read in Arjuna taught. If the mirage were to be water, one of those close by the mirage see water. With a similar token for reasoning, if this person who identifies I would exist objectively, why don't I see the self, the person, as I go closer to its object? Okay, let us now go closer to its object. This is technically what is known as ultimate subjecting this person to ultimate analysis. Okay, subjecting this person to ultimate analysis, what you see, just ignore all those things which are not to be identified as the self. By doing so, you end up seeing the thin layer of the skin and the solid parts, all the solid components, element earth, element water, the 4 liters of blood, element of fire, 2,600 joules of energy, element of air, 4.6 liters of air, element of space, 99.99% of our body's vacuum, element of consciousness. Now tell me, in our ultimate analysis, what you're seeing, if at all there's something there, is none other than 6 elements. Tell me, which of the 6 elements is to be identified as intrinsically, objectively as the self? None. If not, then where is this objective self different from the 6 elements? Remove the 6 elements. Nothing's left there. Now what's the conclusion? Conclusion, you're looking for the objective, what is objectivity of the self, and ultimate reality of the self. What do you discover? emptiness objectivity of the self is discovered. So emptiness object is objectivity of the object. Okay, you have discovered that objectively there's no person left. There's no self, which otherwise identifies I is left. There's nothing there to my surprise. Stay in this experience for a while. And this experience slowly transforms this experience of the emptiness, meditation, experience of the wisdom of emptiness, which is the most fearless mind that possibly exists in the entire universe. Slowly transform this into a spotless and clean thumb-size white Vajra, vertically sitting on the Bodhicitta heart. Okay, this is amazing. You are so meritorious. You have the blaze of the dual Bodhicittas. More symbolic of the conventional Bodhicitta to exterminate the self-centered attitude. Vajra symbolic of the ultimate Bodhicitta, which is the non-dual wisdom of the Adi Bodhisattvas to exterminate all the mental defilements, be it reflective or cognitive, thereby guaranteeing that your Buddha nature is going to be awakened fully to experience fearlessness, total fearlessness, and infinite happiness, and that you'll be able to share this wisdom with all the sentient beings, that you'll be able to lead them to this ultimate awakening. It's amazing. So precious indeed. Meanwhile, don't forget that your two parents, your family members, your children, all sentient beings are suffering terribly. Yes, generate very strong compassion to them. And this compassion invokes the Vajraman at heart, multiply infinite number of times. She once said the Vajraman at the heart of her mother, one said with your dad at his heart, one said with each of the family members, including children, one with each of the beings here in deer park, human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, God and goddess, spirits, and so forth, and one with each of the beings in your own country, in the entire world, at the heart of each of the beings, the trillions of beings that exist in the water bodies, the oceans, seas, one with each of the beings in the wilderness, in the entire universe. Oh, that's amazing. You're so kind. Meanwhile, let us also not forget that all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they are watching us. Why not we invite all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas to be the guests and the witness to undertake the Aspiration Bodhisattva vow as a concluding ceremony of this 7-day retreat. As a gesture of making request to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, let us slowly stand up along with all demonstration beings to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Okay, see if you can sit on your right knees for the time being. So meanwhile, if you start to feel the pain, then you can sit in the most comfortable position. Let us turn to page 50. Okay, imagine that all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, as requested, like the mother, like their 2 parents, they leave behind whatever they have to do that day to join the audience, waving their hands to you where you as a little girl, little boy, for the first time in your life, you are making a public appearance on behalf of your school. And your parents are so proud of you. This is exactly what all Bodhisattvas are doing today, over you taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. And although you are a very little boy, little girl, but you're a very responsible child, you bring along with you all your siblings to take part in this program. This is exactly what you're doing. You bring along with you all the demonstration beings. So with this mind, and you are leading this practice, and all beings are joining us. And the Buddha Bodhisattvas are with us to bear witness. And let me quickly explain to remind us of the meanings of these verses. The first verse, they said, this journey of becoming enlightened, awakening the hidden the treasure within us, requires a tremendous support. And greatest of the support is the Triple Gem. The first line says, I go for refuge in the Triple Gem. And this journey involves the road. And the road must be clear of the boulders, the fallen trees and so forth. Otherwise, you cannot enter the journey. The road is none other than our own mind, and this mind must be freed of the negativities, negative karmas, the afflictions, intense afflictions, so forth. And how to do so is by confessing the negativity. Second line says, I confess the negativities individually. And the road is clear, but if the car does not have enough fuel, again you cannot undertake the journey. So this car is none other than your own mind. This mind must have the inner fuel of the virtues to undertake this journey to enlightenment. And how to do so, how to accumulate such merit with the merit and virtues within a short span of time, is by rejoicing the virtues of yourself, rejoicing the virtues of Bodhisattvas and all demonstration beings. Third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. Now that the road is very clear and the car is in the fuel, what kind of journey am I going to undertake? So fourth line says, I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. So with this mind, make sure that you reflect on meanings as much as possible as we recite this verse to make the most of our being together here. Together, I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. The next two verses. So this journey, is there anybody who succeeded in undertaking this journey? Flipping through the history book, we come to discover that once upon a time, 2,000 years ago, there was a Prince Siddhartha, and who succeeded in this journey. How did he succeed? He succeeded journey by creating two factors. The first factor is he generated very strong bodhicitta, motivation bodhicitta, that I must become Buddha. May I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. Second factor, to materialize this aspiration of the bodhicitta, he actually engaged in the bodhisattva practices. So by so doing, he succeeded in his journey. Now you see that billions and billions of human beings, animals, insects, herbivores, over the last 2,500 years were being benefited out of one person completed the journey of awakening a hidden treasure. So if this were the case, second verse says that I will also follow the footsteps of this precious Buddha by creating these two factors. I will also generate very strong motivation of the bodhicitta, and to materialize this aspiration, I will also engage in the bodhisattva practices, 6 perfections, 4 perfections, making 10 perfections. I'll also engage in these practices so that very soon, like the way the Buddha Shakyamuni, the very compassionate Buddha Shakyamuni became enlightened and benefit so many beings, I will also do the same thing to become Buddha and benefit all the beings. Okay, let's recite wholeheartedly, imagine that you are leading this practice and all other beings are joining us. And do the third repetition of the last line. Imagine, feel the joy of having received the aspiration bodhisattva vow. And if you feel the pain, please feel free to sit down. This very important. Pain should not disturb your contemplation. Ready? Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, peace be he to me, just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and Lama shall to successfully train in the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, peace be he to me, just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and Lama shall to successful training in the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, peace be he to me, just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and Lama shall to successful training in the Bodhisattva practices. Feel the joy of having received the expression Bodhisattva vow. Just imagine that your mother, after all these many years of receiving complaint from the school principal, today if the school principal goes by, the mother feels so apprehensive. What kind of complaint? No, we came here to congratulate you. What for? That your daughter, your son drove them appointed as the best students of this school for this year. And the mother could not believe her eyes in ears. Her eyes filled with tears of joy. This is exactly what happens to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. They are so happy to see what you've been doing today. So, this happiness joy invokes the Vajramuni at the hearts of the Buddhist Bodhisattvas to multiply infinite number of times. Like rain shower, they descend to merge with the one that visualize the heart of, visualize the Vajramuni that you have visualized your heart, thereby become non-dual, blessed, and stabilized. Likewise, all these innumerable, infinite numbers of the Vajramuni from the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they descend to merge with the one that visualize the heart of each of the beings, your parents, your children, your family members, and each of sentient beings in the water bodies, in the forests, in the Milky Way galaxy, in the entire universe, thereby becoming non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. This is amazing. This is so precious. And this is the best way by which you can repeat kindness of all your dear mother sentient beings. And today you've done this. And of all the offerings the Buddha declared, one moment of the practice of compassion far excels the offerings of the whole universe filled with gems and offered to Buddhist Bodhisattvas. If this were to be the case, what I mentioned for our having taken the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, and today you have made the greatest offerings to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, and of your life, there's nothing greater meaning than this, and today you have given such a purpose and meaning to your life. It's amazing, and all these three wonders are happening because of the blessings and the kindness of the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking them, let us slowly stand up to make three prostrations to thank them along with all their sentient beings. Okay, indeed this is a great opportunity for us. The space created by Deer Park for us. And yesterday when the young ones from Florida Dharma, when they share the experiences, that they do not really expect that the teachings of Buddha is this much profound. And the sharing of the profound joy over having received this opportunity. Finally, as His Holiness always says, if you really feel that you are my student, you shall have to practice Bodhicitta of emptiness. Now we realize, although on the surface, still at the surface, still we see the profundity of these two teachings. And indeed, these two are the ultimate answers to stopping all the tears of the pain for yourself and for all the sentient beings. And even to meet with this teaching is so precious. So, with this mind, how to make sure that we meet with this teaching in the future lives? First, we include that in form of very powerful prayer, one verse. Let's read this 3 times together, wholeheartedly, contemplate on meaning. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. And the following verses for us to once we meet with this teaching in the future lifetimes, then very rigorously engage in this practice, for which the method or the technique given by the Bodhisattva Shantideva is to connect this practice with the feeling joy. And the following verses are to invoke this joy within us with respect to the practice of bodhicitta wisdom emptiness. Together. In order to further increase this bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized and awakened mind of bodhicitta in this way should highly praise it in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of the Buddha and now one of Buddha's children. Thus whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall it disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a Hebrew rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me. It is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes all the serpent of death. It is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. It is the supreme medicine that quells world's disease. It is the truth that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. It is the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. It is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. It is the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. It is the quintessential butter from the churn of the mill of Dharma. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the boundless happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and I shall place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, all be joyful. Okay, dedication prayers. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization that is in the prayers of Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the 3 times and to the upholding of the doctrine of scripture and insight. May in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahana vehicle and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. From my 2 collections, vast space that I've amassed, from working with effort in this practice for a great length of time, may I become a chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds is blinded by ignorance. Togge tuje shage so shenge me to dege bonjamba serge nembo tabo jebe ko shaye gebo kyala chasalo mone mone Munaye Swaha Om Muni Muni Mahamunaye Swaha Tage Tuje Shage Rezo Chon Shenge Medo Dege Bonjamba Sege Modabo Jebe Go Shage Yebo Kela Chaselo Mone Mone Mahamona Swaha Mone Mone Mahamona Swaha Tage Tuje Shage Rezo Chon Shenge Medo Tege Bonjamba Sege Rimbo Tabo Jebe Go Shage Gebo Kela Chaselo Mone Mone Mahamona Swaha 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 Mone Mone Mahamona Swaha. Okay, three processions together.
Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. Om 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 Muni Muni Muni